Alright, so me and my friend Tarak wrote a story in downtime this week about sanctified spells that ended up spiraling into a minor quest, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. This scene starts during the downtime, about an hour or so before the party went off to gamble at the Torn. As Tarak was training in the dojo with the Asimir Mikkel, the topic of sanctified spells came up. Mike responded with, "Well, I'm surprised you've heard of them." And, well, sadly, no. Sanctified spells do come from the gods, more so than regular magic does. The spell you're casting, Angelic Aspect, is older than Galarian itself. The fact you even know what Angelic Aspect is, Tarak, is an accomplishment upon your clerical record. That being said, however, if you're interested in expanding your knowledge, our small temple does have access to a few scrolls of sanctified magic. We'd be more than happy to have you take a look at them if you were willing to help us in return. Tarak responded, "I don't mind looking into what I can do to help. Your dojo is kind enough to allow me entry. Your training has been helping me through some of my mental issues. Such tasks may sadly take some time, depending on how long my group takes with their work as well. Of course, same on our end, however. With serial killers loose in Magnemar, we just haven't had the manpower to look into lesser infractions of Sarenrae's will. There's a fellow by the name of Victor. He's a wizard who teaches basic divination on the south end of the city, 291 Carrion Circle. We understand he's been experimenting with necromancy and would like to keep the number of necromancers in this city to a minimum. To my understanding, he hasn't actually done anything with that knowledge, just study it, but you must understand why we don't want this sort of thing becoming public." "It's understandable. Yes, I've had interesting interactions with the few who practice it to some extent. One I could consider an ally, but others whose work led to unfortunate circumstances between myself and those I work with. The most recent one is why I wanted to rebuild my faith. I can talk with him if you wish, dissuade him from its use." Then perhaps you're the perfect person to talk to him. If you'd like, we've gone over most of the fundamentals of channeling already. If you'd like to call tonight's exercise early to go talk with him, I don't mind. If you're fine with that. I don't mind one bit. A friendly talk could be nice. As long as the study doesn't lead to his use of the arts, it should be fine. Knowledge is powerful. There's no need to put it to use, especially if it can be used to instead counteract the use for malicious purposes. He might even be willing to share his studies with the church if they can help dealing with other necromancers. Are you telling me you condone the study and use of necromancy, Tarak? I'll admit we certainly do have people who do in fact study the dark arts in an effort to combat them, but that's a slippery slope you're standing on. I am being entirely honest when I say, though I do see it as the darker arts, there have been times I do see a complexity to it. The one I consider an ally, for example, he was influenced by such magics, which I am sad to say were his own unfinished work. He was given a second chance by this work, and I want to find a way to undo the magic without killing him in the process. A friend of mine, another wizard, helped me identify a failed attempt at lichdom with his knowledge of the arts. At the same time, though, I thought a friend cursed into a skeleton and saw red. I attacked an old man without mercy for his use of necromancy for nefarious means, so it is complex. I don't condone it, but I've seen people use that knowledge to the benefit of others. Please do not think less of me for the truth that I share with you. I've seen duality and fallacies in many things. My church days in Andoran show me that even the we of Sarenrae are valuable with my days as the Inquisitor. Torturing others with skills meant to restore the body, I'm still sickened with myself for it, and I work daily to make up for it. Of course, responds Michael, though I advise you to be a bit more careful with your words. If you'd like, I could find someone else to deal with Victor if you don't feel your faith is up for it. I'm up for discussing with him, not to use this knowledge he has gained. I I want to show that I am still of Sarenrae's light, ideally without bringing of bloodshed or of violence. Even if I can't learn of these spells your dojo has, if it can do some good, I want to do it. If I can halt his study of necromancy as a whole, and I would not mind doing so, as long as I can talk with him and attempt to work it out without bringing magic or blade, We should give others a chance after all. I failed this once before, and I paid the price. I'm not willing to make that mistake again. Of course, there's no need to go stabbing if it's no longer necessary. As long as he doesn't start pumping out zombies, I trust in your approach. Thank you, Brother Michael. I'll go and speak with him now, and I'm hoping I can do as you ask. Tarak then leaves, utters a small prayer, and goes to the address. 291 Carrion Circle was a small but exotic looking house. It looked to have been built with blue stones and had tan brick decorations. There were small rounded windows that let in plenty of light that looked to have been added to the house in a very symmetrical way. The building itself was shaped like an L, with an extension extending into some stylish gardens circling around half the house. The house itself was surrounded by a little bit of paved ground with an outdoor eating and relaxing space with various potted plants. Tarak put a hand to his chest, he took a deep breath, and just knocked on the door, patiently waiting. There was a brief pause before the voice of an older gentleman responded, "Oh, one moment." A few moments later, you heard the click of a lock as a old human who looked to be about Ruthgar's age opened the door. He looked to be in his mid-60s. He was dressed in your classic pointed wizard's hat and robe. He had brown eyes and old wrinkled skin with a pipe of tobacco in his mouth. However, his eyes visibly shook as he looked on you. Hello, he responded. Tarak smiled softly and bowed his head a bit. Uh, Sorry for the intrusion. I was hoping we could have a talk. My name's Tarak Ember, a cleric of Sarenrae. The old man took a gulp. Cleric of Sarenrae? Oh my, is this a raid? No, no, no. My apologies if it seems as such, spoke Tarak. But I come with all danger stored away and wish to simply talk. Would it be okay if we go inside and sit, or perhaps you'd like to stay out here and talk in your garden? I only wish for the conversation and don't want you being uncomfortable during such a talk. Um, Outside is best. I have a few ward spells up inside. Victor opened the door fully and walked over and sat down in his garden chair, pipe in hand. Is there a problem? Tarak sat down nearby, smiling softly still. I'm not sure I'd call it a problem. I've heard that you've begun studying necromancy. Could I ask why? Necromancy? No, 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 I don't know what you're talking about. I teach divination to little ones. So I've heard. It must be nice. Do they enjoy it? Tarak studied the man a bit as they spoke, watching for lies. The man was clearly reserved. Well, I'd say so. I used to teach down south of Magdamar as much less stressful to me. Mostly just minor incantations, though. I understand that like a cantrip like read magic might be simple to someone like you, but for a new wizard, even being able to understand a spellbook is a major accomplishment. I agree with that. I've only been using magic and power with that for a better over a year now. My more advanced magic still catch me off guard at times. I'd like to learn about them, though I know I should be cautious. And he tries to sense his motive, and he rolls an 11. His demeanor appears to put Tarak at ease. I do apologize for my prior bluntness on necromantic studies. You see, I was asked to talk to you regarding them. Whether you do study or not, the local area has had its fair trouble with necromancers lately, kind sir. Threats that were created with the use of such knowledge. I've seen some of them firsthand. Threats that they go beyond anything I could have imagined not seeing them. If you do study, I would ask you not to use that knowledge. People must rest, after all. And if you do not study, I ask that you not take it up. Divination is powerful magic already, and furthering your studies there might be betterment for everyone. Yourself, the students you share these studies with, and those you could aid with your magics. No offense taken. I understand your church may have difficulty integrating into a city where necromancy is legalized. I admit I am a diviner first and foremost. My business is fortune telling and predicting the future, not defouling the dead. Are you asking my opinion on necromancy? Well, I don't mind hearing it. My own personal opinion is complex, due to seeing some good from having knowledge of the school of magic. But at the same time, a creature created by necromancy, along with its master, have caused unforeseen circumstances. Recently, I lost my own father as a necromancer turned him into a blackened skeleton. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's fine. I'm working through his loss while I work to rebuild myself with the aid of Brother Michael at the local Saronite church. Still, may I hear your own opinion? Well, I understand the hate for necromancers. Really, I do. Necromancy is the magic of life and death. Skeletons are scary. There's no doubting that. And who are we as mortals to decide who lives or dies? At the same time, personally, I'd prefer red necromancy to be legal over illegal. Why? Because at least up here in Magnemar, it's regulated. You head down to the shackles? Legal animating age? Gone. Mandatory closing hours for arcane shops? Gone. Taxes on gemstones? Gone. Heck, even healing spells like Cure Minor Wounds were categorized as necromancy before the third edition on the Conference of Magic some years ago. As was even the idea of resurrection, life and death magic, all that. Though last I heard, the 5th edition conference categorized Cure Wounds as evocation. Can you imagine? It's insane. Thanks Saturday, no one pays attention to the 5th edition conference here in Galarian. Can you imagine there's wizards out there trying to alter the weave to limit the number of unique spells you're allowed to prepare every day? Wizard politics are weird. It is certainly strange. I'm not certain I understand it fully. Though my friend, a fellow wizard, might know more. He has shown knowledge of necromancy and his focus is on conjuration. But it does seem that there may be some good use to it. I have seen cases where having knowledge has proven useful. My allies and I recently dealt with haunts and a failed attempt at lichdom, a horrible fate. And we also seen something far more terrifying than necromancy created. But I won't frighten you with the details. I do have to thank you for this talk. Well, send him to my house sometime. Happy to meet any other mages of the art. And, well, I'm sorry to hear that. If you're interested in obtaining some anti-undead armaments, I've got a few old trinkets from Assyrian that you might be interested in taking off my hands. I shall have to, and I wouldn't mind seeing some of them. But I must ask, from a point of curiosity, what wards in your home did you mention are for? Uh, well, uh, I need you to do something for me first, and just standard abjurations, really. Zones of truth, glyphs of warding. Tarak's smile went down a bit. May I ask what this task is? Or all these wards? Well, you said you're with the church, yes? Perhaps you could help get them off my back. You're the third priest that's come to my door in the last month asking about necromancy, and a man's got to keep his house safe, no? Perhaps. And third one, I should guess such. Have any of them seen inside your home? If it's not too much trouble, could you show me around? Seeing no signs myself and being put under a zone of truth at the church should confirm it to be adequate, perhaps. I was asked to dissuade you from necromancy, after all. If I can prove there's no signs of it here, it should end with everyone content. If it will get it off your mind, though, please, no evocation spells in the house. The glyph of warding is rigged to blow if it senses any sort of hostile magic. Tarak followed Victor inside of his house. The house was equipped with a small kitchen, a modern-looking bathroom, and it also had a small living room, 2 bedrooms, a spacious dining room, a study, and a large basement. Tarak begins looking around. Would it be okay if I investigate without your supervision? Just to be certain. I want to be absolutely certain, but I won't make a mess if I do. I suppose so, if it'll get the church on my back, but please don't touch or move anything. I like to keep everything the way it was, before my wife died. You're, you're not the only one to lose a family member to necromancy. I do have access to detect magic today, which you should be familiar with, if that's okay to use. And my apologies for the loss of your wife. May I ask about her? By all means. Her name was Martha, and she was the love of my life. Love at first sight. We got married right after graduation, and oh, what bliss! We are. We ate together, we bathed together, we even shared the same mount to get to and from the local church of Nethys. Tarak detects a whole bunch of magic, doesn't notice anything, and the old wizard continues to talk. Oh, but she was cut down there in her prime by an evil ghoul. Oh, it broke me. It absolutely broke me. I was inconsolable for weeks. I didn't even get to see her body until the guards were done mutilating my poor mother. And people have the gall to call me a necromancer. Tarak frowned, listening to all of this, heading to each source of magic to get a closer look. He detected a whole bunch of magic stuff in the wizard's house, like a piece of paper that predicted the weather, a pencil and paper enchanted to take notes, a locked trunk labeled cleric stuff. And then Tarek rolled a natural 20 on his perception check, which changed things. With a natural 20, searching this man's house, Tarek found it odd that for an old man living alone, he had two bedrooms. As he continued to talk about the horrible pain from his dead wife, Tarek headed into his mostly empty large basement and found a small, finger sized mechanical latch behind the stairs. Tarek grabbed the latch and looked up the stairs as he did. I'm sorry for her passing. I nearly lost my own friend to a swarm of ghoul recently. Caught in an ambush, and several were paralyzed. I wrapped us all in fire through fireball magic, and then turned the others to ash with divine power. I was terrified of losing them. And Tarek opened the door. Victor was currently upstairs and out of view as they had this conversation. Truly, such violence. And so young as well, that sounds horrible. But as Tarek opened the door, which was mighty heavy as if it was lined with lead, the first thing he noticed was the smell. It smelt as if someone had died in this room. The door appeared to lead into a reading room of sorts. On the far wall, Tarek saw the wall was enchanted as to appear to be a pair of two windows displaying a romantic sunset. There was a love seat, a bed, a kitchen, and rows upon rows of bookshelves. The books did not appear to be written in common. Rather, there appeared to be a series of indentations upon them. The subject matter was also weird, a few books appearing to show cover art of advanced math and advanced spellcraft, but the books currently sprayed out near the couch appeared to have cover art consisting of happily smiling suns and other childish covers. One of the books was open, revealing a strange language that Tarot could not recognize. He cast Comprehend Languages and read it as ABCs with Sarenrae, age 3 and up, written in Braille. Sitting at the far end of the room, in a rocking chair, Tarek saw a corpse. The corpse had no eyes and gray, falling out hair, but it was dressed head to toe to look like a human. It held one of the strange books in its hand and was reading it by pressing one of its fingers up against the pages. The corpse appeared to not hear Tarek opening of the door. Tarek frowned, looking it over, cautious in its steps. The corpse appeared to be that of an elderly human woman in her mid-50s, but the corpse was badly maimed. Its chest was torn open, her legs badly lacerated, as if they had gone through a wood chipper, hidden only by the skirt the corpse was wearing. The corpse's eyes were torn out and had been replaced with black onyx gemstones. Medically speaking, this person was like three different types of dead, though her arms and mouth still appeared to be in good working order. The corpse turned the pages of the Braille book. Victor, it spoke softly and with the voice of an almost kindly grandmother, barely audible above a whisper. Are you there? You know I can't see you anymore. Tarek looked behind him before looking to the corpse. He's upstairs. Are you Martha? The corpse's voice remained very quiet. but her voice seemed to turn to worry. Oh my, who's there? Where's Victor? He's okay. He's fine. My name's Tarak. I'm a cleric of Sarenrae. Oh no, no, no. I I it's okay. I'm ready to go. Hey, it's okay. Ma'am, Martha. Are you feeling okay? Are you in any pain? You 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 don't look to be in very well condition. Yes, my name is Martha. I am fine. I am okay. I'm ready to go. I knew this would happen someday. I knew our love would not last. I see. Ma'am, I can allow you to rest, but would you like to talk to Victor one last time? I ask this for your sake and his. I I cannot move. I see. I can bring him down or carry you up if you wish. I think you two should have this last talk. She raised her arms to cover her eyes to cry, but no tear came out of her long dead flesh. If you would grant me that mercy, Paladin. I am no paladin, but a humble man who wants to give people rest and mercy and healing. Would you wish to be carried with him? If not, I will be right back with him with you. There was no response. Tarak headed out of the room to the bottom of the stairs. Victor, sir, would you come down here with me, please? Someone needs to speak with you. Tarak heard a shuffling noise, the slight whoosh of magic, but no vocal response. Tarak frowned and headed upstairs, looking around with detect magic. He headed up the stairs, casting Detect Magic. He detected nothing out of the ordinary, except a faint aura coming from his left. Looking to his left, he detected two faint blobs of magic, but before he could identify one of them morphed into the image of Robert. It was Robert as he was when he was alive. In his hand, he held a bottle of whiskey, in the other a bloody scimitar, engraved with the symbol of Sarenrae. "Oh, Tarak!" he spoke. "Got a new toy for you!" Tarak rolls to dispel the illusion. He succeeds. He focuses his energy on the image of Robert, and before long, he recognized it as it was an illusion, and it faded into a brief outline. In response, he heard a muffled cry from the other blob of magic in the hallway, as Victor reappeared from being invisible. This time, his flesh made out of stone. "I won't let you hurt her!" he cried as he cast a bolt of lightning towards Tarak. Tarak jumped to the right, but the lightning still hit him square in the chest for a bunch of lightning damage. On Tarak's turn, he drew his sword and got right up against Victor, whacking him with the flat of his blade. "I don't want to fight you, Victor, but she says she's ready to go, and I want you two to be able to talk. You said you lost her. Don't you think it hurts her to remain here when she can't even move herself?" He misses. Victor slapped his blade away with his stone-covered hand. He screamed in Tarak's face. "I love her! I can fix her!" He began casting a spell. Tarak critically hit him and did a bunch of damage, slammed his sword that slowed him down his sword was slowed down considerably by his stony skin. Still, your attack gets through, and the shocking action on his fingers fell through. "Victor, I know it hurts. I know it hurts. Trust me. I want everything I can do to bring my father back. I want to make things right with him. But this is too much. You don't understand. I can fix her. I can bring her back." "I'm sorry, Victor. I don't think that's possible. Not with her condition." Tarak teleported 10 feet back, cast Hold Person. He made his save. As seeing the spell not take hold, Tarak then came back up against Victor and ran towards him. "Anything is possible!" Victor pulled out a scroll and began reading it in Tarak's face. Tarak stabbed him, but again, the stone skin covering his body appeared to absorb the hit, leaving the wizard entirely unarmed. "This is what became of my wife!" Victor spoke as he read the scroll. An inky black tendril shot towards Tarak. "This is what they did to her!" and the magic slammed into Tarek's chest. And rather than damage his skin, he felt the magic go right through his skin and attack his soul directly. He felt himself become weaker, like his life force itself was under assault. Tarak coughed and covered his mouth, shaking a bit but standing up straight. Victor, the last thing I want right now is to fight you. Your wife is downstairs waiting to talk. Please take this time. Think of her, and not just of yourself. And the two of them continue going at it for a whole lot of rounds. It ends with us having to do a voice call for like 20 minutes. And basically, the two of them get into a wrestling match, Lucha Libre. The two of them fight out each other, but eventually Tarak is able to overpower the old wizard. And despite his skin still being made of stone, he manages to hogtie Victor. Tarak, huffing and puffing after the fight, picks up Victor and carries him downstairs, limping a bit towards the room. Martha, I brought him. Please talk with him. He just tried to murder me. Tarak set him down next to Martha, standing close by, as she was sitting in her chair motionless. Victor, however, was not, in fact, motionless. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck Sarenrae! Is it crime for me to love my wife? You are Satan, you hear that? Asmodean advocates, let me out of here this instant! I swear if you land a single hand on Martha, the unholy powers I will, etc., 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 etc. Martha simply sighed at that. Victor, it wasn't going to last forever. I told you. They'd find out about us. And at that, Victor just broke down crying. Martha simply listened in his direction with her ear. Tarak sighed softly. Victor, Martha, I know the two of you love each other. I don't want this to be any more than the two of you. But please, understand. Martha, you deserve a peaceful rest that undeath denies. And Victor, I know it will hurt to let her go, but you must. Victor was just completely inconsolable, but Martha nodded. Tarak approached, a hand going on Martha. Please, I know this will hurt, but I swear I'll do whatever I can to make this as painless as possible. Please, understand. Martha blinked. Make it quick. Of course. Tarak closed his eyes and began praying. Sarenrae, I beseech thee, guide these one to a peaceful rest with your light. Allow this one the chance to grieve, so that one day he may also join her through your light into the heavens, their love never lost, but cared for even when separated by the veil between life and death. Tarak uttered this prayer in channeled energy, using its warmth to live Martha's soul and soothe Victor's heart. He waved his hand, and Martha's corpse smiled, and then stopped moving. Victor continued crying on the floor. Tarak sighed softly, frowning, and released the knot, recovering his rope from Victor. I will leave you to your grieving. I'm sorry this came to pass, Victor, but know that she is in a better place, and she still loves you. May you two be together when your own time comes. Tarak then left the house, making sure to shut the door, and make his way back to the church again. Tarak looked around back at the church, and basically went to look for Brother Michael. He found the Asimir near where he left him, now shirtless, filling out some paperwork in the side office with a towel wrapped around his neck. How went the talk, Tarak? Not as well as I'd hoped. He had allowed me to look through his home, and he seemed gentle, but I found something, and when I wanted to, he lashed out. He's alive but grieving. Michael simply held up a hand. Some things are better left unsaid. Right. As long as we've got less necromancers in Magnemar, that's the main thing I care about. And as a reward for that, Tarak received a scroll of Sun Mantle, which I imagine he's probably going to use next session.